Welcome to A Simple Life. Today, I had to put up some chicken netting at Herman's. My invisible fence around the property has not been working properly for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe even longer than that, but I noticed over the last 2 or 3 weeks that it wasn't working properly. So I figured I'd work it out. I'd go around, I'd check all the connections for the invisible fence, make sure everything was good. I did that. It didn't help. What was the next option? Well, was to contact the company, see if maybe it was something on their side, maybe it's on my side, start working that out. Well, while I was doing that, twice in the last few days, my dogs have gotten out. Once they went over to a neighbor, they were doing some construction over there. They were making a bunch of noise. They went over to see what was going on. Today, they just went on a walk and they ended up down by our place. It's not the end of the world, but what I don't want is I don't want my dogs just roaming the hillsides for no reason. One thing is they're protective. That means they could be on somebody else's land and they can be being protective. That comes across as aggression. And aggression isn't helping us with our neighbors. And while my dogs aren't really aggressive, they're just protective, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of another. So here's what I did. I have some stuff coming. I have a tool coming in the next few days that's gonna help me figure out where the partial break is in my wire that goes around the 80 acres, and that wire is almost 9,000 feet long, so I got some hiking to do. I'll take you on that adventure. But in the meantime, the dogs are in jail. So what I did is I set up some of the chicken netting that we have. I brought it up. It's tall enough they can't jump. It's hot enough to keep them in. They got water and food. They got their favorite dog house, the dump truck. I know, they have a nice dog house. Where do they sleep? They sleep under the dump truck 90% of the time. How do I know? Because I come up and Merle's snoozing underneath the tire. So that's what's going on today. I don't want to take the risk of having a dog get stolen or shot or hit by a car or anything else. All right, we're gonna go look at the goats. I think the goats are pretty much done in the area that they're at. Let's go down and check out the goats. Okay, so we are on, I think, day 8 of goats in the ivy.
I just want to remind you what this looked like 8 days ago. This is what it looked like. We couldn't see the trash on the ground. We had ivy everywhere. And now it looks like this. I'm not saying it looks any better.
I can smell goats,
but you can see the progress.
But I don't see any goats. There they are. There you go, there's one. I want to see what they're eating on right now because I haven't cut anything down in 24 hours for them. So I come up every day. I've been cutting this stuff down almost every day for them. Yesterday, oh, I didn't film it yesterday because I was waiting for some folks to show up. And so I didn't film. I can show you what I cut down and then you can get an idea of what they nibbled on. So I cut down a tree over here, a maple tree over here. This is the tree I cut down yesterday. The reason why it was a bit of a bear, this branch caught up on the madrone branch over there. So it went down all the way over to there. So this is down, they've eaten it all up. And now we just gotta figure out what's next. If I can give them feed for today, I find something easy enough to take down that has a good amount of ivy on it. I got a couple of candidates, then I'll do that. Especially since the big leaf maple, I actually prefer to cut it back down. 2 reasons for cutting the big leaf maple down. Carbon sequestration, so I'm getting carbon on the ground that is gonna be, plants and stuff are gonna grow over. Second thing is, I get a lot of bushiness from it, which means I get more feed for my goats in the future. All right. I think that is going to be our victim for the day. The only problem is, it is super leaned over. You can see it's leaned very heavily this way. All right, so we have this set up. There's a rope about 10-12 feet up right there. Goes to the hook on the winch and it comes down around this old black walnut. That black walnut's not going anywhere. It's perfectly fine. That's gonna act as a nice little redirect. Nothing crazy. The way I'm gonna cut this up, I just need a little help pulling it this way, but it's gonna fall right down there. Well, that's what was not supposed to happen. That's exactly what I didn't want to happen. Well, what was supposed to be done in 5 minutes will now be done in probably 45 minutes, maybe an hour. All right, well, I'm gonna get to work cleaning that up because there's not really much else I can do other than clean it up. I got my mess mostly cleaned up. Now I'm gonna go after this right here, this mess. I have the excavator here, so I'm gonna push this stuff over. I'll start on this side and I'll work my way in. The kind of cool part about this mess is everything's kind of layered up in such a way that like that right there is not gonna fall this way because there's another branch holding it. So everything should be able to be pushed over one after the other, so we should be good on that front.
I know sometimes it looks like all I do is chop things down, dig holes, smash things with my excavator. Really what I'm trying to do is do a lot of the pruning and cutting and trimming that's needed to be done for the last 20 years that Herman was unable to do. The upkeep. Unfortunately, it all lands on me to do at once. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, The Biggest Little Farm, but that's what I'm going for. We're slowly going to turn this property into the Garden of Eden, with our clothes on. In modern times. One of the biggest helpers I have in doing this are these goats.
I love watching animals do what they do best, and goats eat and browse and destroy vegetation in a spectacular manner.